Show. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody, to this time it's different with Notre Dame and the biggest games on their schedule. And it's a big deal edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps old Johnny Boy out as well. Notifications on it with you alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Ake. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it in your ear hole. Call-in lines 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Ake. USA Today. I got articles out the wazoo, people. We're cranking up. I mean, we're getting into the meat of the season. Check it every day. We got articles all over the place. Enjoy it, read it, consume it. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Here we are. We're finally here. The first game of the few games that we've all had circled literally for years and years and years. I remember back in my old corporate days, sitting in my office, looking at those future schedules, seeing this, and I remember punching that desk and saying, Kelly better figure it out by the time we get into these years and all this. Like, this has literally been circled for years. Notre Dame, Ohio State's coming at us fast. On the big stage with everybody watching. You guys notice what happened with the TV windows? None of those other games or networks even want to mess with Notre Dame, Ohio State. They moved Clemson to noon. All the games are kind of flexing into these other windows to avoid that one. You got center stage, baby, at the house Rockne built. It's the exact dynamic and build up we've all been hoping it would be. And the time is upon us. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about all of these moments, these big game moments. I'm not talking Notre Dame versus NC State. No, the biggest games on our schedule, the ones that get all the national attention, the ones against the elite, proven elite teams. I want you to think about those games. Last year, and through the whole Kelly era. Okay, I want you to envision those games in your mind. How they went, how they felt, how they looked, the build up to them, what was being said, what was being written, what was being thought about. I want you to think about all that last year and through the Kelly era. What your mind space was, where the Notre Dame fans were entering all these big moments against elite talent. Okay? Last year, you had unideal circumstances with a backup. You had to go to tried his best, but is not the most physically gifted guy. Even before that, Buckner, all the potential in the world, but still a total unknown. You didn't know you could trust. And then you go through pretty much all of the Kelly era. Here's what I realized. We've never, in that window of time, entered a big game the way we are this time. Feeling like we have a quarterback we could trust. Feeling like you had a quarterback who would be under control and not overwhelmed. Feeling like you had an offense that has not a lot of A1 weapons, like on the Heisman Watch, top guy at the position in the we don't have a lot of that. But there's way more weapons that could burn a defense on this Notre Dame team than any last year, any in the Kelly era. I'm talking about guys on the field at once that can affect you, from the tight ends to the running backs to the quarterback, and then whatever production you can get out of the wide receiver group. Okay? We have never entered one of these big game moments where we felt like we had a quarterback advantage. Name one. Name one of those games we entered and you sat there breaking it down going, you know what should be in Notre Dame's favor tonight? Notre Dame has the better quarterback. And it's like, John, now we're in a better position. What are you getting mad about now? This year it's in our favor. Yeah, but it's unacceptable that for over a decade we never were in that position. That's dereliction of duty at Notre Dame. That every single one of those big games, we started it by going, what's working for us and against us? Against us, quarterback right away. Every one of these moments, we figured, how are we going to win in spite of the quarterback, working around the quarterback, supporting the quarterback? How many touchdowns does the defense and special teams have to score to make up for what our offense isn't? That has been our existence for every one of these games at this level. For over a decade, you were starting out behind in all of those analyses. Here's what I'm telling you. Wipe all that shit out of your mind. This is nothing like that. Things are different now. Notre Dame has a real-world quarterback. And more than just the tight end as a weapon. And it makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the difference in the world. All of that scar tissue you had of Notre Dame in those big moments and you feeling like we are starting from behind, not level because of that, the talent, especially on offense and the quarterback, it's all different this year. You cannot look at any of those, anything in the Kelly window and last year and apply it to us in these big games this year. We never had an offense that was capable of doing what this one is. And the other thing is, I know some of you smart Alex are going to go, oh, this offense is far from elite, John. That may be true, but it's way, way better than anything we had before. I know how you guys are, some of you. We put up all these points and you're going to say, John, you're saying our offense is good. Look who it's against or whatever. Even if I acknowledge all that, I'm still saying it's way more capable than anything we had before entering these type of big game matchups with the whole world watching. Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of A1s. They have a lot of 1, 2, 3 that could all hurt you. All those backs could kill you if you let them. You put a couple of those backs out there. You have Holden Stays out there. You trust your quarterback, and then you have the wide receivers and whatever. This Notre Dame team's built differently than all those in the last decade or whatever I was just complaining about. That window. Also, aside from just the offense being more real-world capable and having a guy running it who's real-world capable, you also have a young coach that's learning that people like and want to support and get behind. That matters too at Notre Dame, more than a lot of people would like you to think. Even when Kelly had things going decent, he wasn't likable. Because when things were going decent, his ego inflated, and then he talked like he accomplished more than he had. There was no winning with Kelly. When things were bad, we were mad. When things were good, I was still mad because they weren't good enough, and all it did was inflate his ego artificially. Now you got a young coach learning on the job that seems way more comfortable in his second year, and he's a guy everybody around here likes and wants to get behind and see succeed. That's a big damn deal too. That's why optimism this time is actually warranted and justified entering these games this year. Facing Notre Dame is a different kind of challenge now for these other teams. It's no longer just stop the run, bracket May or the tight end, get off the field. That's how you defend Notre Dame. Those times are over. Those times are over. So that's why I think genuine optimism I understand it this year. You know, you're always going to have Notre Dame podcasters or whatever that love Notre Dame, and then they're going to pick Notre Dame to win every single game no matter what. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Doesn't matter how we're playing. They're going to pick Notre Dame because they can't pick against them. Bro, I don't operate that way. Like, the realism in my mind supersedes any fandom romance I have. So I've never let that clear my judgment. I've gotten on here before and said, this game's going to be a problem. You know, like I can't pick, this ain't Georgia. If you're Georgia, then there's a reason for me to pick you in every game because you've proven that that's the level you're at. Notre Dame is not there. And so a lot of times people pick Notre Dame with their heart. This year, I understand legitimate optimism, and I think it's actually warranted and justified. This is a totally different setup for Notre Dame in these games than anything we've had the last dozen years. Wipe all that scar tissue out. It doesn't apply. Notre Dame's built differently. They are not lopsided one way this year. They could do both. We've never seen it because Kelly was bad at his job. We never saw it. Never saw it. Having a quarterback this capable in those big moments, never saw what that's like. This is all different. Look at this Ohio State matchup. Notre Dame is at home. They have the more established, better quarterback comfortable in these environments. You're going to have the green jersey, all that excitement. This is the most questions I've seen Ohio State have about how good they are overall in a long time. I am seeing questions about the quarterback. I'm seeing questions about the defensive line. I'm seeing questions about the offensive line. This is the most questions this talent-laden roster is going to have. It all lines up for this to be Notre Dame's time. All of those factors that usually line up against Notre Dame in the big moments actually line up for Notre Dame this time. What are you going to do about it? If ever there was a dynamic and a set of circumstances that favored Notre Dame in one of these big game moments, this would be the one, folks. If there's a time to get these guys, now is your best chance. It's all lining up. And you know who else knows this? The opponents. They all know it too. And the opponents' fans know it. Okay? This is a new ball game when you're playing Notre Dame now. And again, I'm not acting like Notre Dame has this ultra elite, unstoppable offense. It's not, I'm not acting like that. But the production we're getting is 100 times better than anything the last dozen years, week to week throughout the season so far. You could call that a low bar, whatever, but I'm just telling you, it changes the calculus. These other teams are looking at Notre Dame differently. So this time, it really is different because Notre Dame's built different. So wipe out all that old 12 years of big game Notre Dame scar tissue, watching us, the defense doing their best to hang in there, and they do, but the offense goes 3 and out 98 times, and then the defense gets run down, and eventually we lose by a lot. That's been the playbook, you guys. All those big game moments, that's pretty much it. The defense does all they can to hang in there. The offense can't do diddly-poo, and we get worn down and end up losing. That ain't the playbook this year. That ain't how it's going to go down. Notre Dame's capable of more. Changes things. So that is the purpose of this episode, to set the tone here by saying this time it's different. If ever there were a set of circumstances that favor Notre Dame in this dynamic, this would be the one. Figure out how to get this win at home, and then we move on from there into the challenging stretch you have after that. Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, USC. There's your season right there. Notre Dame's record in that month stretch is going to dictate what's possible or not. So this is the beginning of it, and it'd be a big feather in your cap and change all the narratives around Notre Dame football. Momentum in Notre Dame's direction. I think things favor Notre Dame. What are you going to do about it? But this is different. Wipe all that old stuff out. Brian Kelly all last year. This is not that. This is not that. You cannot apply those results to this ballgame in this season. Totally different. Can Notre Dame take advantage? We're about to find out.